This is Lewis up for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store. Delighted to be joined with Johnny Clark. My first interview I've done after I got back from a holiday. Couldn't ask to be joined with anyone better ahead of this Saturday. How's things, mate? How are we before we get into all on Saturday?
Well, it's fight week, so I've got me paracetamol close for all the headaches that are coming, and typical fight week shenanigans are happening, but by the looks of it, everything's been sorted now, which is a touch. But yeah, no, listen, it's good. And at the end of the day, to get to a fight week is a blessing anyway. So no matter about the bumps on the road, I'm just glad I got here.
I was going to say that, like, I'm sure for this one, there's always the headaches that come with it, and we'll get into them. But yeah, as always, just like every other show you do, it doesn't seem like it was a standard road to get to June 29th.
No, it's definitely a bumpy road with lots of turns, dead ends. You have to come back out of them and rejig everything. Yeah, and it's been a headache. Like total, we've had 11 pullouts, you know, through injuries, retirements, late injuries, medicals, yeah, like top to bottom. And we replaced them quickly though, because the quality of the shows, I've got a queue to get on. So if someone wants to come on, I say, listen, if someone drops, I'll let you know. And they're like, even if it's a week before, let me know. I'll do the tickets or I'll pay to come on, you know. So listen, it's been a blessing that I built a brand where people are eager to get on.
Absolutely. I suppose just before we do get into the card, you mentioned there about having a queue of guys to get on. Do you think it's nice as a promoter to like be a little bit choosy of what you want? Like now you're at this stage where you're probably say, you know, I've only been promoted for like about 15 or 16 months, but you're quite established, especially in the southern area now. It's nice for yourself to be a little bit choosy of what sort of fights and what type of fighters you want on the card.
Yeah, because I say like we have a queue to come on, and I say yes, but obviously small hall only makes sense financially if you're fighting an opponent who's coming to win. Because if you're fighting an opponent that you got to pay for, everyone's losing money. So when I get the queue, I say, as long as you're happy with the same level as you fighting against, then you can come on. And when the opportunity pops up, they seem to be eager to take it because they're getting the love, they're getting the promo videos, the open media workouts, they're getting, you know, like we boost their social media, like unbelievable. You know, we do a good job for them. And I think that's part of boxing these days, isn't it?
Absolutely, definitely. And you mentioned pull-ups there, and there was one that I did want to mention. One that was a real kick in the teeth. It did happen quite late on in the card. That's obviously Nick Webb against Harry Armstrong. A good fight between two domestic heavyweights. You pushed hard for that to get Southern area. Fisher obviously dropped his belt. To have that now and it not come to fruition after all the hard work must be a real kick in the teeth and a sinker.
Yeah, it hurt. To be honest, this one really hurt because Harry's license is all in order, but Nick had a few things he had to sort, and typical fashion, like leaving it last minute. So I was 100% focusing on Nick and his team. And then I got a voice note like less than a week ago to say Harry got injured. And I thought, that blew my mind. I never thought it would be that side that was going to be the problem on that fight. Yeah. You know, you get a gut feeling sometimes, and they turned up to all the media days. They've been on BBC Radio Essex the day before the injury, and it was moving fine. But he said he's got to have surgery. So it's not saying you can just brush under the carpet and fight. It's a very hard fight. It's for the southern area. So then he's obviously you're going to have to come off the show and come back later. But Nick Webb, he isn't someone that's just going to come and fight on a ticket deal. You know, he needs a title there, doesn't he? So there was no way of him staying on. I tried, but we couldn't do it. But I believe he's on the next show as long as his opponent accepts him.
And when it comes to you mentioned there about a few licensing issues and this and that. I think this must have been about May or April time or just after your last show. You said, you know, if you're going to be on my show, you've got to do your medicals, everything sort of by now if you want to get on the June show, and even more with the September show. But now you want to sort of echo that message and sort of iron out any creases that potentially could cause problems with your show.
Yeah, well, to be fair, like this show, we had Grant Dennis had a calf injury. You know, that was a brilliant 50-50 fight with a young matchroom prospect, you know. It should have been probably main event, if I'm being honest, the level of that fight. But he come off, and then obviously we had Chelsea Arnold. She, I think she was having a bit of problems sparring, and everything weren't just clicking for her. Yeah. And with women boxing, you know, a lot, and you're not going to really get back in time, I think. And I think that was a problem she was a bit worried about because Harley is, in my opinion, a future champion. And then, unfortunately, we kept Hardy on. She was then going to take the #1 seeded in Italy, and then Hardy done a knee, like literally a week later. So it's like, wow, like maybe it's just cursed a little, you know, because I managed to get a silver com on that actual fight. My good friend Taylor Jordan, he then done his eye, and I was like, wow, you know. And then that left Alex Branson Cole getting a replacement. His replacement come on and then failed a medical in Milan. So now he's had to get another opponent in, but the opponent he's got is actually bringing over Angelica Oles and Adam Sislak as their coach. And I thought, well, you fight at the weight I need. So I managed to use my brain a bit and then get him on the show anyway. And that just got passed before you rang. So I can actually announce that. and it saved it, you know? But then we've got Lewis Rose. He failed weight. He couldn't make the weight that was agreed. So he come off, which I was looking forward to from America. Rob Parry, James Osborne's opponent, winning record, would have pushed James up a lot more, but he come off, he retired. It's just so many. Finley Judd, Harry Armstrong, Patrick Mendy failed his medicals, didn't have them in place, but accepted the fight. So many, 11 of them, 11 pullouts, but none that was on the show originally failed medical, so everyone's listening. But I even had one of the girls at the front desk pull out.
Jesus.
But I think that's why a good businessman will be a good promoter, because they're the obstacles that you face every day. You know, when you're a manager or you're running a team, you'll get a phone call 5 o'clock in the morning, like one of your team members is sick and you're going to have to go in yourself, cover or whatever. And they're like, my show name's resilience and discipline, you know, diligent, like now mentality, you know. They're words for a reason, because they're all the things that I'm gaining and growing and bringing to the game.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, I suppose 2 fights that are happening, obviously they weren't with hiccups themselves, is Jimmy Sains and George Liddard, both matchroom gym fighters, on your card as well. I think when I saw that, and when sort of everyone sort of around obviously the southern area saw it, like that is some statement to get 2 fighters like that who are you know, considerable matchroom prospects and have been backed by Eddie Hearn, to get them on your shows must be a great feeling for yourself to have Liddard and Sains on there.
100%. Like 2 nights ago, I was having a bit of a deep conversation with Abdul. I was a bit pissed off about all the dropouts, and I'm saying, like, I'm grafting, but you can't bank on someone not being injured. I'm putting all this into them, like all the promo videos that I'm losing money on. And he said, Johnny, he said, 2 years ago, I didn't know who you was, John, you know? And then 1 year ago, like, you're coming to the scene. Now Eddie Hearn knows who you are, and he's trusting you with 2 of his fighters that are big ticket sellers on your show. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing all right. So imagine in a year's time where I'll be. But to have them 2 on, honestly, it's been zero ag. The only ag I've had off them is to get them more tickets. Like, what a problem to have, you know. And they've been professional, turned up to their promo videos on time, had a good workout in there, a good chat. Tony Sims accepted anyone that I sent to him. And what I was happy about was they didn't just come on and fight a journeyman or a good record from abroad. They've come on and they've took on, well, Jimmy's got someone who knocks out a Queensbury prospect, knocks him out cold, you know, and that now it's time to get one back for Essex. And obviously George has got S.A. Smith, who beat one of our friends from the show, Alfie, before. And he's a tough fight, you know, and they're like probably still the favourites in both of them fights, but they're tests. And a bit better test than what they've had. I didn't think they'd have that. I thought they would come on maybe just get the win. So now I've got a little bit of pressure on them to get the win and then send them back to Matchroom with a lot of love. Paid well, obviously, because they've done brilliant tickets. So it's a great experience for me. And I don't even feel like I wasn't ready for that. You know, just being like 13, 14 months in the game, I feel like I could take a Matchroom boxer and give him the love and send him back happy.
And as a promoter, like, the big thing always is to deliver moments of fighters. And although this may not be, you know, a major moment for Jimmy and that, but he said to me, you know, he always wanted to fight at the Brentwood Centre, and it's always been a thing for him. And he said, I never knew when my career, he said, you know, Matchroom weren't really going to go there, so I never knew when my career would be to fight at the Brentwood Centre. To have that opportunity and deliver that for him, although on like a small aspect, no disrespect, it must still feel like a real nice feeling to do. Yeah,
because when you collab with a boxer, you get all their fans writing on it, and you get all the show's fans writing on it. And a lot of people were writing good things about Jimmy, but then good things about Top Tier. And that made me feel proud, you know, because I thought, I'm not out of place here. I could have someone like Jimmy and George on the show, and I can give them a platform, you know, and I can build them up. Like the promo videos we've done for them are unbelievable, you know, like they're really up. They're probably my two favourite. And I'm proud of how we've acted with them, and I do believe like they're going to get a lot of love. You know, it's probably going to be a while before their main and co-main event on the show. Now they've got that experience, and they can bring it on to their future shows.
And Jimmy obviously fighting on the 6th of July card as well, the Fisher Babbage card.
Yeah.
Was there any, obviously you was initially first for him to be on your card. Is there any concerns with him, I suppose, having two fights in two weeks of how he approaches the Remy Shona fight?
Not for me. None. The only way for me is if they was going to take him off, but then Eddie live on the Zone said that he would never do that. You know what I mean? And I was like, wow. Yeah. And to be fair, it helped promote the show because everyone was writing to me, like including yourself, didn't you? Said, "Oh, what's going on here?" Yeah. The only pressure now is that like a little cut, you know, like if something like that happens, because he's a very live opponent in Remy, but obviously not even going to put that thought in my head. All I'm thinking is we get Jimmy Sains another knockout win, 5-0 with 5 knockouts.
Is there what are the conversations like with Hearn? Like you said to me when he first got on the card, both of them, you said like I'm the academy of boxing in a way. Could we see this happen like more often? Maybe not even just with Hearn prospect, but Warren and that. Like, is that something that we think we could see?
Well, I think when you gonna let a boxer go on another show, one, they can't be your competition, can they? Yeah. So you don't want to put them somewhere where someone might get an eye for them and get in their ear roll and whatever. You know, like with me, I'm small hall. I'm going to stay small hall. You know, I make Brentwood my home. So they know, like, they come there, they're going to get the love. They're going to take the pressure off having to get them out. And, you know, that London shows, the first London show they've done for a while, they've been like Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds. Like, so it was hard to get them local. And he's put them on my show. Like, listen, I don't know, maybe 800-900, maybe more tickets between them. But them fans are going to get a taste for it. And then when they are at the manor a little bit, they'll travel with them now, you know. So it's a very clever move by him. They get out down here, they get paid well, and a good win on their show. But yeah, like more the merrier. I'm gladly take on any promoters, boxers, and help them out and get them on. And listen, this is just a trial run, isn't it? So I'm sure if I impress, I'll have a lot more coming in.
For sure. Did want to move on to Kevin Reveall, obviously fighting for an area title. A guy that I suppose you've always had like a sort of relationship. He's been on a lot of your cards. Like you've known him, I suppose, since he really started promoting. So now provided, and he's always been one that's like, he's always said to you, like, Johnny, just give me 50-50 fights. He's always been up for a 50-50 fight. So you've now got him an area title as well. So yeah, and excited for Kevin and a good fight against P.A. Gordon.
Yeah, so when P.A. Gordon won the title, I said to Kev, like, your record, now you've beat someone else with a winning record, you qualify for the Southern area. I want to go for that. And he deserves it, you know. Like, he come on my first show, he lost. He come on the second show, knocked someone out in 20 seconds. Come on the fourth show, he lost. And then the fifth show, he won. You know, and it just showed that mentality is, so what if you win or lose? Like, listen, he's taking part. He's having a bit of focus. From this, he's built a gym in a scaffold yard. And he's absolutely killing it. He's changed so many people's lives in that gym. Like, they've all lost weight. I don't even recognise half of them. They look that much better, you know. His son's there every day, watching, training, getting the bug. You know, he's coming in the ring. He's coming to the media day, sitting on his lap. And I really like the message that he's sending to his son. Like, win, lose or draw, keep up, keep going, and just give it your all, you know. And then you'll get back. And then now, listen, he's got a title shot. He then got elevated to an English eliminator, you know, so he wins this. George wins this, P.A. Gordon or Kevin wins this. Surely the next fight for them is Jules Liddard and for the Southern area and a final English eliminator. Whether that's on my show in September or the Matchroom show, either way, I'll be proud of any one of them to go on there and the Academy of Boxing strikes again and they move on.
Definitely. Just the last one on June 29th, and we did have to talk about a good friend of mine, Phee. He's back out again. Say, God willing, he gets through this 6th rounder. The youth title is ideally something that could be next.
Well, it could have been this one. It could have been this show, but they didn't want a target on his back. They said like he's still very, very young. You know, like you can fight for the youth title in your 20s, and he's still 19. So they wanted to slow him down a bit. And I was like, yeah, I understand. So this slow him down and just keep him plodding along. You know, but yeah, I expect good things for him. So I suppose they're right. There is no rush for him, is there?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I suppose we'll move on now. September the 7th. A couple of fights already announced for that. One of the main ones being Stelios Papadopoulos against Ben Crocker. Anyone who was at that first fight would know that was 8 rounds of absolute action, and we're going to get another sort of crack at the cherry, I guess, on September the 7th of that fight.
Well, to be honest, when the fight was originally made, we wanted a title on it, but they just both didn't qualify. Stelios through inactivity, and Ben didn't have enough rounds. So that fight had to be an 8-rounder. And the winner, we was going to try and get for the IBF European. But the fight was so good. I just wrote to the IBF and I said, listen, watch this video. I'm telling you now, this will qualify for Fight of the Year. Please allow it for the title, you know, because it deserves it. There's no way that fight can happen again without a title. And after what they've been through in their careers and their records, they deserve a title fight. And thank God it passed. You know, and now what a fight. You know, I love the poster for it. Like, I think we've got the best posters in the game. And it stood out. As soon as I put it up, 700 likes straight away. I was like, wow, that was powerful. You know, and you just know, like, the best in Greece versus the best in Wales on the best show in Essex. So I'm happy to get that back on.
Does it make it for an interesting fight? Because I think if anyone watched the first fight, it was very like, if Stelios probably started a little bit quicker, he probably could have ended up getting a decision. So it makes it a more interesting fight knowing that, like, I suppose how it could go, considering how much of a fight of two halves the first one was.
Yeah, it was a real 50-50. First half was obviously Crocker, second half was Stelios. The knockdown probably nicked it for him, didn't it? You know, but it was hard to score, you know, because I'm partial anyway, you know, I don't cheer for anyone, you know, I just want the best one who prepared the best and give the best on the night to win. It's just the way I am. But yeah, when I was there, I was finding it very, very hard to score. And then I remember afterwards, everyone's going, watch it and score it. Both sides asking for opinions. I was thinking, bloody hell, like, just take it. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. I'll get the rematch. But yeah, to get the rematch, obviously for Croco, if that's close, it needed to be for a belt, didn't it? You know, you're not going to fight someone who nearly nicked it not having it on the line or big money. But for me, I was like, it's got to be a rematch. Straight afterwards, I was like, I've got to get this as a rematch. And I'll be honest, I didn't think the money would be there for me to do it, which it wasn't. And that's the beauty of my shows. People come on it more for the opportunity, more to be seen, to be looked after, and then for the, obviously, what comes next. And the Academy of Boxing, what I keep saying, hopefully from this, you know, they've got to be on a big show, you know, got to be on a big show after this.
Another two that also got announced, Elliot Whale and Toomey Phillips. I do have to give a shout out to Joe Pugh because he's always on to me. He's like, Toomey Phillips is unreal, mate. He's really, really good. So, yeah, excited, I suppose, for September 7th because you get them two on the card as well.
Yeah, with Elliot, I'm telling you, I've been a fan of his. I've been a fan of his for quite a while. I remember I see him at York Hall, I said, hello, mate. And then he had me back and I was like, yeah, I like this guy, you know, like he's always there to fight. He put a post up saying he couldn't get any opportunities. This was going back probably about a year and a half, maybe less. Just as I started boxing, I thought I'd love to give him an opportunity. I've just watched you. I think you're great. But there's nothing I could offer him, you know. And then his manager wanted him on a show local. And it just so happened that I was talking at the time for another opponent. And we managed to get him on. And obviously for a title as well, which he deserves. Like, listen, I'm seeing him knock out everyone. Obviously, later on down the line, being a welterweight, I'd love to see him versus Ursu. That would be fight of the year. But if I'm being honest, probably be on a much bigger show than mine because they both deserve it. If like Ursu's due a Commonwealth title, I think it'll be made mandatory at the end of the month. And obviously, Elliot will be the IBO European. So, listen, they can go on and someone's going to have a very lucky show to have that on, I'll tell you now.
Definitely, for sure. Just before we do finish this off, where can we watch the show on Saturday? Because I did see it's being broadcast live on the Stomping Ground. So yeah, where can we watch it?
Do you know Parsons? You know, he used to know you, didn't he?
Yeah, I don't know. He used to know me. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. He's moved on, isn't he?
I'm lucky to even get a reply from him now. So yeah, that's how it is.
Well, listen, I'll be honest. Yeah, I went to Dubai. I was in with Taylor Jordan before he got bloody injured. I was out there training, or he was training. I was watching and filming in the Well Hydrate gym, Boxing IQ, and I got talking to him in there. And then someone said, just stick it on the YouTube, you know, like I was sponsored by Well before, it's half their channel, and obviously they got links to the Zone. And I thought, you know what, that's a real clever move, you know. So I'd like to get that in more people's eyes and the right people's eyes, and put it on there. And they're a building channel, you know. Obviously a little bit of a fan of Parsons. I like the way Eddie takes the piss out of him as well, so that's great. And yeah, it's going well. It's going well, and I put him all over the ring. I think he's going to be happy when he sees the artwork and that, you know. Like, I've spoilt him, to be fair. I've spoilt him rotten.
Yeah, well, I don't know if he deserves that or not, but yeah, it'll be good to see. Good to see the show on there, mate. As always, Johnny, thank you for taking time to speak to us. Good to see the position that top tier are in now. I mean, I've almost been covering it from the start now, so to see it in the position it is now, I suppose as someone that works in the sport and as a friend, it's good to see, mate.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No worries. Take care, mate. Appreciate the time. Top man.
Good, mate. All right. Nice one, mate.